Hi, I'm Allison, and I am presenting on my senior exhibition, Lumiere, Illuminar, Lumiere. That is light or illuminate in French, Spanish, and Creole. I'll talk a little bit about myself first. All my life, I have been creatively inspired by my experiences and the people around me. I would not have pursued an art degree if it had not been for my family and encouraging artistic relationships I had formed in high school. I grew up a Christian and did all the right things and what I was taught. I loved God in a way that I saw Him as a friend and father. I had never correlated my own creativity and my spiritual gifts before diving deeper into my faith and truly getting to know Jesus Christ. Since attending the University of Sioux Falls, my faith has grown tremendously, and I have been lifted up by even more loving and caring people in my circle. So I once had less desire to travel and see the world because I was pretty content with my bubble. In August 2016, I stepped onto a world of many new relationships and encounters of joy and light in the world. I stepped onto a campus that showed incredible love and care for everyone I walked by. The way that my eyes opened was first subtle and scary, but looking back, I see the light that shone on University of Sioux Falls from day one. Since stepping out of my high school bubble, I have seen our Creator's work and felt closer to Him than ever. Whether at worship night or in the studio or even internationally, I've seen His light in this world where I could never have imagined. Light comes from God, and so does all of creation. Let's take a look into just a few ways light can be seen in and around our world. This first piece is Genesis 1:3. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. A creator with that much power is our Father. It blows my mind every day that this creator that I can call friend and father gave us life and light. Now, this was one of my first paintings finished of this series because I had originally wanted to focus solely on literal light fixtures. You'll see that that is not where the collection ended up now. Anyway, we have gray hues here, which I wanted to be symbolism of the in-between lightness and darkness. The layout and arrangement of the bulbs is intentionally disorganized. In my time thinking of and experiencing light and darkness in the world, I've realized that we all know that it is very unpredictable and disorganized. So we'll zoom in quick on a few of the bulbs. You'll notice that none are exactly alike. I painted each of one separate by hand and could not have made any the same. And that kind of reminds me of the uniqueness of the bulb. The uniqueness of the bulbs reminds me of the uniqueness of each person and each child of God. All right, so another piece from last semester, which was inspired by my travels to Spain in January 2019. The fence is a barrier between the viewer and the color and the lightness behind it. At one point, I did not want this to be included in this collection because I thought it would be misinterpreted. I did not know whether the way light is portrayed in this painting would correlate with my other pieces, which it kind of doesn't, but it's pretty great anyways because it's an excellent portrayal of light. Although there is a barrier, which seems strong in the center, the darkness of the fence fades away and almost weakens the barrier. And we know God's light is not always clear from the start. Often it is not clear to us until after the darkness has already faded. So seeing God's grace in this, I don't want you to assume darkness is always so easy to look past. And so this shows that pretty well. Some of the other pieces in my exhibition are very clear that that they are showing light. They are showing God's grace, and this one is contrasting that just a little bit. So, an example I can think to share is just this semester with so many changes occurring in our plans and changes in the joy we anticipated, such as graduation. That darkness came about when those things were taken away. And I think we can all agree that we need God through this uncertain time more than ever. Seeing past the darkness of now and believing light and normalcy will shine again is very important to keep us looking over the fence and moving forward in faith. Next is called Neighbors, because community and relationships are indeed a light in this world. We can see God's light when we help and love one another. A perfect example is how the world comes together through a pandemic. Babies in buckets of clean water, an image taken on my Haiti mission trip last May, became the subject in this painting. Honestly, this application scared me. My studio classmates can attest to the fear I had going into creating this piece because it was a turning point into an outside of the box kind of approach, personally, at least. Applying the same image to this piece 3 times and in 3 separate sizes challenged my views of space, and I hope that challenges your view of space also. I suddenly was not worried about the canvas being one flat plane and could see the canvas as a source to guide the viewer's eye across multiple images and colors. The layering of graphite and acrylic also helps with breaking up the space of one flat canvas. If we look closer at one of the graphite images, you can see that I intentionally left the baby without a specific face. I think that the baby being unrecognizable is also very important to this perspective of light. As children, light can be community, is the people around us, neighbors, and the fact that this child does not have a distinct face shows that even more, because we could put any face on that baby. We could put our own child or our own neighbor or someone in need next to us that we can help, and we can see all people as children of God, rather than this specific child having a face would have changed that a little bit, because it would be more about that child than about children in general. So, yeah. Next is I named praises. This does not have a distinct subject and is very abstract, but as someone who has never really, before USF, I had never really had the idea to lift my hands in praise. But attending chapel, new churches, and worship really familiarized me with that and brought me to kind of a different level of relationship with God. A late night after a worship gathering, I walked over to the studio and put this together with a lot of emotions. I unfortunately did not write any of my thought processes down, and woke up the next day with little to remind me of those emotions, except for this painting. Many worship nights at USF have resulted in impacting my contentment with any situation I had been going through. Just being in the presence of so much community and the presence of God, that was something that gets to me every single Thursday night that I attended worship. It really touches me, especially when I'm around that many friends and acquaintances and people who just show a lot of love to each other. Quick before I move on, these brushstrokes are intentionally so raw that I think I just want to reiterate some feelings about this, because even though it's not a distinct image, it is abstract, it can be interpreted in many ways, and you can feel a lot of community and something from above. There's that harsh white colors and hues in the middle, the top middle, that I think really show just like raising your hands in praise and knowing that he is there and he is your light and that he is someone who you trust in.